Hello, this is Taurus Mark II with a quick and easy auto repair video. Don't worry, it's just headlights. You can do this, I promise. Let's get started. So first we're going to have to remove this headlight so we can get to the pigtails on the back and remove the lights. And that's done by removing these two bolts here. Let's go ahead and do that with an appropriately sized wrench. Every car is going to be a little bit different. Some cars you won't have to remove this headlight lens. And the second bolt. Alright, now that the bolts are loose, we can remove them, and this should just lift right out of place. We'll go ahead and turn that around so you can see the connectors on the back. Now these simply twist gently out, only about a quarter turn. They are a little bit tough. There we go. Go ahead and push that through the bracket and lay this gently somewhere safely. Now the other one, we're going to have to remove the pigtail because something's in the way of us turning it. So just push down on these little brackets on the side and it should pop out. Now turn it and remove. Simply repeat the process for this other side. Now here we have the bulb up close. This one's about as old as the car. This car's 18 years old. This bulb is pretty dim when we're looking down the road, so we're going to replace it with this brand new one. You can see the glass is nice and clear, and it's all brand new out of the packaging. The other one's a little bit hazy and oxidized. So that's the connector we're working with. You cannot put this in backwards. Do not try to force it in. If you have to, you have it the wrong way. Also, never touch the glass. The oils from your hand will actually heat up while the bulb is on and it causes it to pop. So to remove the bulb, same thing. You're just going to pull these little brackets out. I make it sound so easy. But you're going to push this up and then remove the bulb. Yep, it's probably the hardest thing you're going to do this entire time. We're just going to clean up the pigtail a little bit with a sponge. That was just old silicone gel that keeps the water from getting into the connector. Unfortunately, I did not have any today, so I won't be able to replace that right now, but it's a good idea if you're at the store to pick some up and put it on before you snap the new bulb into place. Just like that. Now, as far as the lenses, we're going to go ahead and clean these up because these are all oxidized and it keeps that light from getting as far down the road as it should. So we're going to clean it up a little bit just with a household sponge and some water. Make sure these are always wet while we're doing this part of it. It's called wet sanding, basically. So we've taken all the debris off of there. We don't want it scratching up our lenses when we do the next two parts. This is an automotive Scotch-Brite pad. Once again, make sure that the headlight lens is wet, and then we're just going to kind of go to town with this Scotch-Brite pad. And we're taking material off the very front of this lens to get rid of all that yellow, oxidized, not so clear plastic. Go ahead and rinse it off so we can see how we're doing. And then just go ahead and keep going at it for a little while, putting some elbow grease into it. You don't have to press really hard or anything. Just quick, vigorous movements should do the trick. You can see some of that plastic dust is trapped in that liquid there. We'll just rinse it off and get ready for the next part. So this is an automotive detailing sanding sponge. I believe this was like a 2500 grit. So it's super, super fine. It was originally meant to take scratches, little tiny scratches out of the clear coat on your car. So what we're doing is basically polishing this plastic. I'm gonna go ahead and rinse that debris off of there. And then the next part, we're gonna be using a liquid polish. I'm using a Nova anti-swirl polish. Or Novus, not Nova, Novus. Once again, make sure all the debris is off there before we move on to the next part. There you see me putting on the Novus polish. We're just going to take a normal old napkin, paper towel. You could use a microfiber sponge if you want. We're not getting fancy with the detailer kind of stuff and using special pads and all that. This will do just fine. So get it nice and wet again, and we're going to try and get this pasty polish off of there. And you can see we are pretty much done. Going to clean that up with some Windex. Wipe it off, and there we have it. Now I'll pull up the other headlight in just a second to compare it to. Now you can see I'm doing this in the kitchen sink, so you know you don't need to be in a automotive shop or anything to do any of this stuff. And there's that other headlight, all yellow and dingy, so we'll do that one really quick. After we're done with that, we're going to go ahead and just do what we did before in reverse. We've got all of our headlights and stuff in place, ready for us to go. We're going to start with the one that's still attached, and we can simply snap into place or twist into place. So we're going to go ahead and give this a shot, and leading by bad example, if you remember, this pigtail went through the bracket, so we should probably stop where we're at. That's right, and put it back through the bracket. Otherwise, this headlight's not going to go in correctly. There we go. Now for this other one, remember, it needed to be disconnected, twisted into place, and then reconnected to the pigtail. Once again, just take a look at the connections. Make sure you've got the longer prong so that it fits into the pigtail correctly. And there we have it. All we have to do is place it down and put its bolts back in spot. You can start the bolts with your fingers pretty easily, and then finish them off and tighten them up with a ratchet. Now, one thing you may find in a car that's this old, these holes where the bolts go into the frame might be just a little bit loose. We'll figure out how to fix that later, but for now, these are nice and snug. Now to get a little extra longevity out of cleaning these, we're going to try coating these with clear coat. So we are doing this before we've placed them back onto the car. Just go ahead and 6 to 8 inches away from the lens. We're going to go ahead and give it a nice dusting of this clear coat. And then we're going to go ahead and move it, replace it with our other headlight, dust that one, and then simply switch them out again and repeat the process moments later. Let them dry, and we're all set. Have a great day.